All right, g'day, and welcome back to another episode of the Wing It podcast, episode number 23. Now, I don't know anyone in the AFL with 23 if I tried. You might, but I'm just going with LeBron. I'm going with Michael Jordan. I'm going with Anthony Davis in New Orleans. I'm going with, that's it.
We got Buddy Franklin.
Well done. Oh, wow, the GOAT.
James Jordan.
No,
the Demons.
It's the average one.
I think Dylan Williams for Port Adelaide might be 23.
Well done.
I think you've got
he is.
O'Brien from the Hawks is 23.
Potential Mark of the Year player.
Yeah, I think Liam Henry from Freo is 23.
You're pulling this out your ass now.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Liam Henry comes to mind when you think of 23.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 23 at Freo.
Liam Henry's literally played 5 games.
And what's another thing? Gold Coast. I think it might be Lemons, Sam Lemons. Or Flanders. Flanders or Lemons.
Wow.
I can think of every 23 in the league. Good number.
Anyway, yeah, well played. It's a great number.
Rose 23 is...
You've asked for it now. It's a great number in every other sport bar AFL. So obviously a very prestigious number in NBA. But anyway, moving on. Welcome back to another episode of the Wing It podcast. That's done with the 23s. We've got a bit of news to get through this week. Obviously, we'll go through our normal review. We've got some juicy hot wings coming up at the end of the episode, which we're really keen to talk about. This year, we're changing up pretty much. We alluded to it last week, but our hot wings from now on are going to be more discussion and topic based. So we've got a great one that Dogger's come up with this week, which we'd love to hear your opinion on. So when we get through it, make sure you leave your opinions in the comments and we'll get back to them. But let's kick off with our rumour mill / Cam's news. I don't know why I keep saying that because it's never been Cam's news. Anyway.
Sorry, mate. We get it.
It's just been sent there for a second. Yeah, everyone's got it. Anyway, I did the rumour mill, so that's the main thing. Cunnington and Fyfe both out for the season. Poor Ben Cunnington's obviously had a testy tumour. We'll call it that. And he's had it out. Yeah, terribly poor bloke. So he's had that taken out. And now Fyfe.
It's not funny. It's not a laughing matter. That's very serious. That's a very serious incident.
You start smiling and you egged me on. Anyway, and then Fyfe obviously had his shoulder slipped out for, I don't know, this 14th time in the last 6 minutes. So Fyfe and Cunnington stars this competition out for the season.
Yeah. Nat Fyfe, brutal. He probably should have not played for the last 3 or 4 weeks, to be fair.
I agree.
Yeah, with the previous shoulder injury he had. So I really didn't think he was going to play much of the rest of the season, but went on to play about 3 or 4 games since. And, yeah, he's gone and re-aggravated it, which you would expect. And I presume just having a full shoulder reco and hopefully be back fit next season. But thoughts and prayers to him and Ben Cunnington, who obviously has just been diagnosed with testicular cancer. So
tumor,
hopefully
not confirmed a cancer, just a tumor to be preemptive. Or is it?
Okay. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, thoughts and prayers to him. All the best with the surgery. Hope he goes all right, and he'll be a bit lighter getting around the field now. So
he's a dairy farmer. So
what does that have to do with the price of eggs?
I don't know. They've got big balls. Anyway, moving on. Jesus Christ.
I don't know about
that. Such a bad start. Anyway, next, here we go. This is actually this is a great one by me, and you're going to hate it. But anyway, my rumour mill. The Melbourne Demons, your beloved Demons, they are dead last in the AFL at the moment in goal kicking accuracy since the buys. So since round 12 started, they are dead last in the AFL in goal kicking accuracy. Since that day, they have won 2 games.
Are you sure that's correct?
Yes, it's correct. They are.
No, I saw a different stat, but
no, it's dead set. You can go into the AFL news report and just look about 2 days ago, and it's there. They are dead last in goal kicking accuracy since the bye, since round 12, and you've had 2 wins since round 12. You've had losses, a draw, and only 2 wins. I checked before, double check, and you've only beaten 2 teams. Before the round 12 bye, you were top 4 in goal kicking accuracy, and we saw your results. You were probably the best team in the competition. Does that worry you, Matthew Doherty? You yourselves. You have to kick straight to win. That's just common logic.
Well, I think it's something that I've hinted on throughout the year. I think we peaked just far too early. Obviously, we ended up going 9-0, I think it was, before a loss. And yeah, we were just going ham at the start of the season. As you said, we were the fourth best team in kicking accuracy before the buys. We're the best pressure inside 50, most tackles inside forward 50. And we just had every stat going for us, apart from clearances early. And yeah, it sort of just turned around the other way. We're doing well with the clearances since the bye, but it's really not winning us the games. So our midfield isn't carrying us through the wins and seeing us get those crucial 4 points we need to remain in that top 4 and hopefully push for the top 2 again. But it's worrying signs, but I feel like we can definitely bounce back. And if we have a little dip here, hopefully it's just a dip before the rise that we're going to have coming into finals. So we can peak in these last 2 or 3 weeks with 2 very, very difficult games away from home and 2 very easy winnable games. So we've got Gold Coast and Crows. And then we've got Eagles in Perth and Geelong at GMHBA, the last game of the season. So we'll see how those go, but I don't know. I think it's going to have to be a strong end to the season. And if we can pull 4 wins out of that, then I think we're just boost right into premiership favourites again. So I think it's actually really good that we have 2 easy ones and 2 hard ones split up as well between the weeks. So I feel like those hard ones are just going to gear you up to being in that finals sort of form. Because if you can just have an easy run home, then sometimes you can go into a bit of a slump and you're not playing the quality team, so you're not getting that challenge. But I think we just need to pick up just a couple of stats that are a little bit worrying, like with our forward line, and now our forward line starting to mesh, hopefully. We haven't really had a solidified forward line all year. So with this new one with Brent Brown, Tom McDonald as well, hopefully it will mesh a little bit better in the next 4 weeks. So
it's interesting you say that. I've had a very reputable source who knows his AFL logistics and statistics. His name rhymes with Noel, but I won't reveal his name.
Noel Mailer? Is there wrong with that?
I'm not sure. But anyway, he's pretty much said that Melbourne will not make the top 4, and you're $5 odds right now to miss the top 4. Your next 4 games are Gold Coast away, which I wouldn't call an easy win, but I would back you in.
Yeah.
West Coast away, I would call that a loss because West Coast are very strong.
I would not call that a loss. I think we would.
Geelong, I think you'd call that a loss. And then Crom, you've lost to them, although I think you win because they suck. But
I think we will win at least 3 of those games.
I think you'd win minimum 2.
Geelong is the only one I'm not sure about.
I think you definitely win 2. 3 is not a stretch, but I think you definitely win 2. Is that enough to make the top 4, considering teams like Sydney are flying?
Yeah. No, I don't see Sydney going in there. I think we will win enough to definitely remain in the top 4. I think it's more of a case of will we make top 2 with that crucial game.
Really?
Yeah. In that crucial game in Geelong to end the season, it's just going to be do or die for the top 2 spot. Obviously, they've got the wood on us in recent times, and they've got the points on us at the moment. So getting that win would just be absolutely crucial for us.
I have to disagree because I think a team like Sydney could go 4-0. They play Gold Coast, they play North Melbourne, they play St Kilda, and then this week they play Essendon. I wouldn't be shocked if they win at least 3 of those, if not 4. So yeah. I think that top 4 is wide open. I don't think Port Adelaide's at a certainty either. We've got to play Western Bulldogs at Marvel to end the season.
Very tough game.
Yeah, we've got GWS this week, which is not an easy game. That top 4, I think, is wide open. So
I think it's going to come down to the last round of the season.
That last game, when Port plays North and you play whoever you play that last game, it's going to be a very, very big last game to decide that top 4. All right, moving on with our rumour mill. Let's get on to our round 18 review. So, Friday night game. Obviously, I was watching it. I will keep this one pretty short, but Port get over the Pies in the end. Collingwood put up a pretty good effort, I won't lie. We've been saying it for a while. Collingwood aren't a bad team. Top-end talent, they're one of the best. And they put up a fight against Port, but Port's class prevailed in the end, purely thanks to Charlie Dixon.
Yeah, I knew Charlie Dixon was going to dominate this game. Obviously, we both put a little bit of money on him as well for most
4 goals at $4. Thank you.
So easy. And I just think due to the comments during the week from a couple of journalists, I think it was, I don't know, Ben Luke or whatever his name is. He said something to do with Giannis, comparing Giannis to Dixon, saying that he should incorporate more of that bully strategy. bullying strategy in games. So as soon as I saw that, yeah, oh really? That's the only reason I bet on him. So alarm bells were ringing, and I thought against Jordan Roughhead, I really do rate Jordan Roughhead, but if that's even his name, Jordan Roughhead.
It is. Sorry. So this journalist compared Charlie Dixon to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No, he said he should adopt more of the bully ball like Giannis does and play like Giannis. Did you not hear this?
So the same thing that everyone told Giannis. So this, Cam Luke, yes, he's the guy who does the show with Adam Cooney.
Yeah, Adam Cooney, yeah, that guy.
The armchair expert. So this guy has told Charlie Dixon to adopt the Giannis thing, which he didn't even adopt until 2 years ago, because every journalist told Giannis to adopt the Giannis thing.
There you go. I'll send it to you. Yeah, 100%. Exact quote. Charlie Dixon should watch the NBA Finals, in particular yesterday's game when Giannis had 50, and see what you can do when you're a menacing bully.
So that's the exact thing that everyone told Giannis to do 1 year ago.
Exactly right. So
this time a year ago, we were bullying Giannis for this exact reason.
Exactly. So Charlie Dixon, I think that he's going to have a huge end to the season, and you guys are going to become a really tough game in the finals. And I think Charlie Dixon's going to put on an absolute masterclass for the last few games of the season.
Well, going by this, we're locked to be in the 22 finals, aren't we?
Maybe. Soon to be in Matt's multi as well, Charlie Dixon.
I think Dixon's put himself in the right position to have a big tear, and not just this reason, but Todd Marshall's played himself into form. Yep. Mitch Georgiades has actually got the attention of coaches now. They go, okay, we actually have to body this guy. And who's going to benefit from this? It's going to be Charlie. So I think it's going to be...
No more double teams, triple teams, quadruple teams.
Exactly.
The whole back six on him.
Dare I say, he's literally Shaquille O'Neal in 2001. He's getting hacked nonstop. Yep. So I think that this could be a great back end of the season for Charlie, and I bloody hope so for Port Adelaide. All right, next game we're going to review. They are my most hated team by far, and I hate everything about them, about the Dale Blues. If I could double hate them, I do. Their worst loss of the season. I've been a big North Melbourne fan all year, and I decided to go, no, I'm going to back Carlton, even though I said it every time I back them, they lose, and they did it again. So Carlton go and lose to North Melbourne, not just a little bit. They got rolled.
They got absolutely smashed by them. And more even than the score suggests. So North Melbourne only really broke away in the last half of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. But they were just outplayed and outclassed all game. And it was just that midfield of North Melbourne, Ben Cunnington, Jed Anderson coming back, Jai Simpkin, Taron Thomas chucked in there, and
what a star.
LDU as well. All those guys against just like a Sam Walsh, Paddy Dow, Matt Kennedy driven team just doesn't work. Like Sam Walsh obviously has been fantastic all year and will continue to be fantastic for many years to come. But with those two players in Dow and you just changed your winger player of the week live on the show.
Moving on.
With Paddy Dow and Matt Kennedy, who are both in the twos. Matt Kennedy even delisted at the start of the season by Carlton. Yes. Those two inexperienced players coming into the team, and they were just always going to get bullied by the midfield, and that's exactly what happened. So Taron Thomas with 4 goals, and the entire North Melbourne midfield just took over and dominated. So, yeah, great win by North Melbourne. Suvlaki with 7 goals really put it on Weeders, probably the only player to dominate Weeders like that ever, or since he's really become like who he is as a defender. So huge game from the guy with the best nickname in the comp.
Easily,
Suvlaki.
But I've been saying this for a while with North Melbourne. I said at the start of the year, I said, look, they're probably the worst team, and I understand why people are backing them in to be the worst team. But they have enough talent to not be the worst team. And they, for the last 10 weeks, I would say, if you take out the first pre-buy, they're a really good football team.
Yep. Any
team that goes in with 2 key forwards playing key defenders is going to be in a bit of trouble. And Suvlaki this is true. And for any AFL player in his first 50 games to have 5+ goals.
Saw this.
Suv has 3. Nick Revolt, 1. Jonathan Brown, 1. Josh Kennedy, 0. Suv's going to be a real star. I think he's going to be a
Mitch McGovern has 3.
Does he?
Just quietly.
Yeah, but no offense to the old Mitch McGovern, but he was the fourth choice in that forward line. So he was getting the fourth best defender every single time.
Has taken him 9.5 years to get 50 games as well. So
that's a big component. But yes, no regards. I think North Melbourne's going to be a great team, and Paul Cunnington, Cunnington is the best player in the AFL in traffic, bar none. So I'm very
Clary.
No, bar none. Ben Cunnington is the best player in AFL in traffic, bar none. So it's a real shame to see him leave that North Melbourne team, which looked like they were building towards something. And I think next year they're going to be I'm not saying top 4, top 8, but they might push for that top 8 team. I think they're going to be a 7 to 10 team next year for North Melbourne. So
I think they're going to be like the years gone by of the Swans, just very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah,
not so much up there on the ladder. So
I agree.
Hovering, in my opinion, hovering that sort of 10 to 13 spot. But yeah, just really pushing teams and making it really hard to win.
But could sneak enough games before you know it to be in that top 8, 100%.
How it goes.
Moving on to the next game. This game was a interesting one. At half time, I thought, quarter time, I thought it was over. And then Brisbane go and kick 11 goals unanswered. One of the most amazing turnarounds in a game of football I think I've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
11 goals unanswered.
87 points second half.
Have you ever seen a goal? Points. Have you ever seen a game with 87 points turnaround or an 11 goal unanswered? Have you ever seen 11 goals unanswered?
That's ridiculous. I didn't watch the game, to be fair, but I saw it half time and I was like, wow, maybe I really should have taken the Suns line in Matt's multi.
As did
I didn't, and I was kicking myself, and then Brisbane just showed their class and just kicked, as you said, 11 unanswered and 87 points in the second half with no Eric Hipwood, obviously. Lincoln McCarthy really stepping up, but just unbelievable. So hats off to Brisbane, massive win, and shout out to the Sunnies. They've been going pretty well lately. So and Jeremy Sharp been very, very good lately as well.
I'd take nothing away from Gold Coast this game. They played a stellar first half, but obviously the class of Brisbane prevailed. And to finish the game, it was since the halftime break. Gold Coast Suns kicked one goal 5.
Wow.
To Brisbane's what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 goals 4.
Ridiculous. Unreal straight shooting as well.
It's pretty nuts for a team who doesn't kick straight. But
exactly.
It's actually one thing I nearly put in the rumour mill, and I'll like to bring it up now. With Gold Coast especially, but there's plenty other teams. I could name the 5. We go, wow, Jeremy Sharp, he played a great game. He's played 2 great games now since Brendan Ellis has gone out.
Yeah.
Do we call it a great game? Because he's literally in these positions when no one gives a fuck. We're willing to let you take these uncontested marks. We want you to take those uncontested marks. We want you to fill the back half, back flank when you've got literally no one and you're switching again to try and find an option. Yeah. Are we over? I don't know what I'm after. We're
exaggerating,
over exaggerating the fact that he had 31 touches and Brendan Ellis has done it all year. Are we over? And there's plenty of players in the AFL who do this. So no disrespect to Gold Coast or Sharp or Ellis, but there's plenty of players. Are we overselling the fact that these players look great on the box score, but they're not really doing anything at all?
I think that sort of ball movement and that uncontested marking game is really important to the Suns, who really are a team who needs to be leveled out, especially with all the youth in their team. They just need a little break and time to take their time and move the ball up the field and be methodical with it. And they just haven't had that. So I think providing that is really important instead of getting it in players' hands that are going to make a bad decision just running guns. So I think that is actually really important, and it shows sort of Jeremy Sharp's class and ability, and also the trust that the players have in him to give them the ball so many times. Obviously, because he has that class and he's shown that in training in the last year or so.
I don't disagree, but the fact that Gold Coast had 10 players have over 5 marks, and some of these players are David Swallow, Tuke Miller. We're talking players who aren't your standard mark and you want the ball in their hands players. David Swallow is a contested field player. We don't want the ball in his hands. We want the ball. We want him on the floor handballing it out. So I find that interesting with that. And Fiorini as well very well noted that he can't use any sort of disposal efficiency. That's why he's been dropped plenty of times in his career. So I find that interesting with the Gold Coast. Anyway, moving on. Let's not stay on that. Onto the top of the table clash. Your Demons, the Doggies, top the table after beating your boys down. A great game by the Bulldogs. And you guys, to be fair, you showed early in the game, I thought, oh boy, oh shit, here we go. But you showed some resilience and you showed some merit, but Doggies prevailed.
What can I say other than free kick Western Bulldogs?
Oh,
anyway, on to
are you
Geelong.
Kidding?
Make it
Are
easy.
you kidding?
Make it easy work of the Tigers. Yeah, Geelong, unbelievable win.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. You're not saying free kick.
No, it was like the free kick discrepancy just from watching it was actually ridiculous.
Are you kidding?
No, it was. It was really bad. I've had
Doggy,
multiple
you
people come to me and say
this.
that.
You can't be doing this.
I've had multiple non-Demons fans come to me and say that. So
nobody cares.
But yeah, regardless, we would have lost it even if the free kick was the free kicks were more evened out.
It was.
It was really just. What's that?
The free kick count was 25-11.
Yeah, I know. Like literally got pumped in free kicks. But regardless, they were the better team on the night. They lost Alex Keith. They lost Josh Bruce for a little bit of there, and we should have just capitalised on both of those losses for them. But we just couldn't, and they did what every team should do against the Demons, and that's bring the ball to ground inside 50, and it's the easy way to beat us.
It paid off in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. So just bring the ball inside 50, bring the ball ground, inside 50, and you'll win against the Demons. It's that easy. We just have no players to come and scoop it up. We're dead last in ground ball gets inside the back 50. And we just can't do any sort of pressure when the ball's on the ground in the back 50. So we're a purely intercept marking team and spoiling team when it comes to the opponent's inside 50 work. And if we're not that, if we can't do that, then it's all over. So yeah, unlucky with the free kicks, but we weren't the better side on the night. So yeah, on to the next.
Did that hurt to say?
No, not really. Just the truth.
Any tears?
No, I had a few sherbets that night, so it sort of softened the blow.
That's all right.
I'll post enemies.
I'll post your enemies. Well played. I'll post your tears on the YouTube video. Anyway, moving on to the next review. No, that's it. Actually, no, we got one more. Geelong make easy work of the Tigers, and we bring this up because it was our Brown Bets bet of the week. We tipped the Geelong Cats to beat the Tigers, sorry. But I think the line was, 17 we got them out?
16 and a half.
16, 17, something like that. And they ended up flogging them. We took that pretty easy. We're pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, I don't understand why the line was so little. Tigers, without Dusty, they were never going to do anything against Geelong. Geelong were pissed that it wasn't in GMHBA, so they were always going to come out firing with something to prove. And over the last 8-9 weeks, they've been the best team in the comp, pretty much hands down. So
very easily
flying. Yeah, they're absolutely flying at the moment. Their back line, even though it seems undermanned, you probably couldn't really name their back six as a solid back six. But no, players like Liam Henry really, or was it Jack Henry? Oh, one of the two. Jack Henry, Liam Henry, easy to get confused. Tom Yates, easy to get confused. But yeah, players like him and Tom Stewart really stepping up. Really just shows what they're all about. They're all about that sort of team back defending work and ability for players like Reece Stanley to even go back and blitz halves to affect the marking contest, even though he's one of the most useless players in the AFL. Just really shows you what a great team and great system Geelong is, and that's why they've been at the top of the table for so many years. So great win from Geelong, and yeah, they're really going to be scary come finals. So.
No, I completely agree. Two things on Jack Henry. Number one, I think he makes the All-Australian 40-man squad now. I don't think he makes the final squad, but I think he's definitely a 40-man squad. He's been spectacular for Geelong, and 100%. Without him, they're not anywhere near where they should be right now. So he's definitely a 40-man squad player. And number two on Jack Henry, two things. Our good friend Thomas Yates, literally, I just want to highlight this. Our friend Tom Yates sat there and watched the whole entire game of Geelong. Let me give some background here. This man bets on every single game of football.
No, not game of football. Bets on anything that has an available market.
Yeah, and we're not saying he's just a gambling addict. He just loves his sport. And this bloke, any gambling addict, but he literally watched the whole entire game of football, thinking, "Oh my God, Jack, why won't Henry kick a goal?"
Cheering Jack Henry on for a goal when he had 2 set shots as well.
Realizing he was on the wrong Henry, and after the Henry from Fremantle, which was 2 weeks ago, to kick a goal. So, no words for his discrepancy. Anyway, moving on to our winger player of the weeks. I'm going to go first because I've had a quick change. I had Braden Fiorini as my player of the week all week, and he deserves it, but I changed at last minute because I don't know. I just think this guy's more deserving.
Well, this guy got the win as well.
And I love this guy. Taron Thomas. He's my winger player of the week. I said about 2 weeks ago, I really like this kid. He's a great player. And I told a couple of players on Clark, actually, McMurray in our draft team. In our draft league. I told McMurray in our draft league to pick him up because he was a good pickup. He goes, he kicks 3 goals, and he backs it up the next week with 4 goals, 23 touches, 12 contested possessions, and a great game. Taron Thomas is a star in the making, and he was the one player that everyone would thought in that top 10, a top 10 of draft picks for that 2015. No, it wasn't nowhere near that early. 2000, it was the same draft as Rosie and the King Twins. I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018. That draft, he was the forgotten one because Bailey Smith was next to him, and there was Chase Jones before him. He was the forgotten one in that group, and he's going to be a star of the competition. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, Taron Thomas, and he's finally showing his potential. And I think we're only at the tip. He's going to get a long. We're only just there. He's going to be a real star of this team. He's a real star of the competition, and he's going to take the competition by storm. So, Taron Thomas, you are my player of the week for this week. Go on, Doug.
Yeah, well done. Who would have thought Taron Thomas would be a winger player of the week? I definitely wouldn't have. But his form lately is just really warranted that of the winger player of the week. So,
real quick, keep him in your back pocket as a first pick next year. Not a first pick, but if you're playing Classic in AFL Fantasy, as a first round pick next year in AFL Fantasy. I think he's going to be around that 500k mark, and he's going to be playing a lot more midfielding, kicking goals, as we've seen. So keep him in your back pocket for if you're playing AFL Fantasy next year.
Don't mind that. Do you reckon he'll have DPP as well? Or?
Potentially, but I think you're going to be about a 520k player, maybe forward and midfield. And forwards, we know they're dime a dozen.
Yep, that's invaluable. No, great choice for your winger player of the week. I liked both of your choices, even the one you end up changing to. But no, a player who I've been really keeping a keen eye on for the last probably 10 weeks of the season. He came up into the Port team, and he's just a little redhead boy. I thought he was just going to be some sort of tagger that they were deploying or something like that. But no, turns out he's actually a big body midfielder, and he can win plenty of the pills. So that's Willem Drew. So unreal game on the weekend. Had 32 touches, 20 of them contested. Huge. 5 tackles. He was everywhere across the ground. Great disposal efficiency, and was just huge in aiding Travis Spoke and Ollie Wines in the contest. And I think he's the great sort of third pillar to that midfield. And he's really proven himself this season from a player who was playing Sample earlier in the year. He's really come up and proved he's definitely right in the mix for that best 22 and definitely in the starting midfield as well. So, no, well on to Willem Drew, my winger player of the week.
No, I'm happy you said it because if I said it, I would have got absolutely roasted. But I have to agree. Willem Drew has been an integral part of this player midfield all year. And the thing with Willem Drew is this isn't a surprise. We drafted him, I think, pick 30 or pick 20. Like, it was early in the draft enough. I think it was 2016. He was early enough pick in 2016, which is a long time ago. And he grinded it out in the sample for a few years there, at least 4 years minimum. Yeah. He's been building for this. We've given him contracts knowing like we want this kid. We know this kid's going to be good. We do not want to lose him. So he's grinded it out, and now he's gone to the position where he's ready to strike, and he has. He'll probably get 3 Brownlow votes for that game. He was fantastic. 100%. He's an integral part of this team in a team that you didn't think needed any more contested ball winners. So, well done to Willem Drew. I love your work, mate. All right, moving on to our wing it tip-off. Now, I have no results on the wing it tip-off ledger because I'm going to wait till Dogger's back in Adelaide. But actually, I can tell you that it's disgusting because Cam's in front by a lot.
No, but, I think I'm smashing it.
Dogger, I'm flying. So,
okay. So I'm 20 points ahead of you in the tipping competition. That's what I'm just looking at now.
Well, anyway, we only started this about 3 weeks ago, and I've actually closed the ledger to about 8 or 10. So
wow, 9.
There you go. So right in the middle. Anyway, I'm flying. I've only gotten 2 tips. I've only got 2 tips.
8 ahead of second. So
I've only gotten 2 tips wrong in the last 2 weeks. So anyway, moving on.
You got 2 tips wrong last week. So wow, there you go.
Exactly. I'm flying. I got 9 the week before. So we're flying. All right.
Take word for it.
Friday night, or tomorrow night. We haven't decided our bet on the week, Dogger. And
yeah, I think I know what I like though. It's the one we were talking about just before we started recording.
I've got one above all, so I'm going to leave this one to go. But anyway, St Kilda are 12.5-point favourites taking on Carlton. I think St Kilda win this. I think St Kilda cover, and I think it's very easy for St Kilda.
Yeah, I think St Kilda win here quite easily. I'd definitely be taking their line. You don't know what Carlton's going to
easily cover their line. I don't give a fuck about Charlie Curnow back. I don't give a fuck about any of the ins or outs. Charlie Curnow's not ready. Nothing about Carlton's good. They suck. St Kilda's line, smash it.
They were doubting whether Charlie Curnow would run again like 6 to 8 months ago.
Exactly. Like, now he's going to change the team.
Run. Now he's going to come in and be that same dynamic player he was 2.5 years ago.
No. Not that he was. That we maybe thought he could be.
Yeah, he was for 1 or 2 games. I remember that game against the Bulldogs. He had 5 goals.
He's never been anything. He's a potential.
No. Yeah, he's fully built on potential. But I think, Saints really need this win. They'll come back. They'll win it. Minus 12.5. Easy money, I reckon.
And you look at St Kilda's ins. Hunter Clark, Jack Higgins, Highmore, and Marshall. They are 4 best 22 players. And Marshall, Clark, and Higgins are probably best 10.
So, and their record with Marshall is just like unfathomable.
He is the absolute... And
he unlocks them massively.
And we've been saying it for a long time. And I think Marshall against that Collingwood team, that Carlton team, oh boy. I think Marshall might pig the fuck out.
So and Max King hitting some serious form at the moment as well. So who knows where he can do in this Carlton team that gave up 7 goals to Savlaki last week. So
exactly. So I'll be smashing that St Kilda line. I think that's well under. I think they win by 30 points for me. All right, next game. Bulldogs take on the Crom in Ballarat. Crows, last time I checked, were paying $10. Can you believe it or not?
Wow.
So 37.5-point line is the line for Bulldogs. Can't see Bulldogs winning by anything less.
Yeah, not wrong. I think this line's unders, if anything.
Me too. I think it's 50-point line.
But the only reason it wouldn't be anything more than this is potentially due to the weather in Ballarat. I think it's going to be freezing. It's always really, really windy there as well.
11:30 the game. 11:50 the game. It's a nice early one.
11. Oh, very, very early.
Very early.
But yeah, so very, very windy. It will be nice and fresh out there. I think Bulldogs will easily win this. Depending on the weather, I'd definitely be taking the line. But the Crows have shown they're one of the worst teams in the competition over the last sort of 12 weeks. So, yeah, I think Bulldogs, Dunkley back. It's going to be huge for my fantasy and huge for the Bulldogs. So, get prepared for a big Bulldogs win.
I think you'll be hailing sideways and Bulldogs will go out there smiling. So, they're the top team. And
also, Crom scored their lowest score of the season, lowest score ever this season. Wouldn't be surprised if they went and did it again.
Is that a hot wing? I like it.
Potentially.
You know what? I'm going to click this. Clap for me to click this. I love that. I think Crows may just go, you know what? I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I think Crows may do their lowest score of the year. I love that.
No.
Yeah, it was a bad voice crack there, wasn't it? But I love that. All right, moving on to the next game. Shut up. North Melbourne in Tasmania take on the Geelong Cats. Geelong are 31.5-point favourites. I think that line seems about right because they're North, but Geelong are flying. Brian Myers has a fractured leg.
Really?
Yeah, out for the season potentially. But I don't think it's going to hinder them too much.
No. Lockie Henderson out as well.
Yeah, I'll get out too. I couldn't take a line here because I think 31 looks dead on. So I'll tip the Cats, but I couldn't take a line.
Yeah, I'll be tipping the Cats in this one, but I think North easily cover that line. I think it will actually be a relatively close game. The Cats haven't really been blowing too many teams out. They blew last week. They blew Richmond out, obviously, and the week before that they had a pretty lackluster Freo team. And early in the year they blew out a Blues team that scored like 16 behinds or something like that. So they haven't really been dominating teams as such. Dominating the scoreboard a little bit, but this North team is going to come to play, and I think they're just going to lay the pressure on them. It's going to be a really, really intense game, but I don't see the Cats winning by 30 plus. I see them winning sort of by maybe 25, sort of 20 to 25 region. So
I would have smashed that line from North Melbourne if I didn't know that Ben Cunnington was out. I think he's too integral to that team. So anyway, on to the next Saturday afternoon game. I've got TBA here. I don't know if it's been confirmed since I wrote this morning.
It has. It's a Metricon.
It's a Metricon. There you go. So Gold Coast take on Melbourne Demons in Suns in the Gold Coast. Melbourne win. What's the line at? Do we know what the line's at?
It'll be about minus 27.5.
Yeah, I'll take Melbourne to win that pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I'll take Melbourne to win it pretty comfortably, but I don't know. The way we're going at the moment, we're just struggling to find any sort of form in terms of our goal kicking.
25.5 it is, sorry.
It is. I was pretty close. As Cam hinted on before, they're sort of struggling with the goal kicking. So if we can use this game just to get it right and just to get our forward structure correct and our interchange right with our forwards, then I think it would be absolutely huge come the end of the season. And I think that's what they're going to use this game as. So just a game to get the forwards going right. But I'll take the Demons to win this one, obviously. But we'll see how we go. It's a bit of a hard one to tell on the scoreline. So
I will hammer that Melbourne 25.5 point line. In fact, that might be my favourite bet of the week.
Wow.
100%. On to the next Saturday night game. 5 games on Saturday. It's a big card. Collingwood taking on West Coast in the MCG. And your favourite boys, the West Coast Eagles, are 7.5 point favourites. This game has intrigued me all week. I'm thinking Collingwood. I'm thinking West Coast. I'm thinking Collingwood. And I tipped Collingwood. And then I thought, no, West Coast have to win. And I've been here before with West Coast and they've ruined me, but I'll be taking the Eagles.
Collingwood will win this easy. They have to bounce back against a bad loss last week.
I don't knock you for that at all.
So Collingwood will win this one. I'd be taking their line 9.5 quite comfortably. They're just going to push Eagles. Eagles going to be just pissed off because they can't go out for a walk and get a coffee in Melbourne. So they'll be having a cry about something, whatever it is, who knows. They won't have soft enough towels in the hotel room or something like that. So Simo will find something. I know, he always does. So, but no, I'll definitely be taking Collingwood in this one. I reckon they'll just smash the Eagles. All the Eagles players just don't give a fuck anymore. And I don't think they'll make the finals. I said that at the start of the season, and I will say it again.
Well, I think the punters are agreeing because at the time of my notes, they were 9.5 points, and now they're into 7.5. So Collingwood are getting some traction. Anyway, Essendon and Sydney. Now, this one's an intriguing game. 18.5 point favourites are the Sydney Swans. However, the game's not in Melbourne. I thought it'd be at Docklands. It is in Metricon. So, however, it doesn't change my tip. I'm going with the Bombers here. And,
wow, don't mind it.
I'm going with the Bombers here because I think there's an upset brewing. There's always an upset every week. And I think Sydney, to win 5 in a row is a big ask. I don't think they can go 5 in a row. And this takes nothing away from Sydney. I think it's just timing, unfortunately. Essendon with a loss last week, they should have probably not a loss. They should have won that game last week. They know they have to win this game for any contention of finals. So I think Essendon will, and even though I hate Essendon and their young kids, goddamn, I hate them. But I think Essendon will win this game, not comfortably, but I'll be taking Essendon's line and then to win.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Sydney in this game. I think they will do the job at Metricon. They've really, really struggled at Metricon in the past. Not last week, though, against the Dockers. That they absolutely smashed them. So, but no, I think Essendon are going to come pretty close in this game. This Essendon-Sydney game has always been very close over the past years. So, no, I'll be taking Sydney in this one, but I think it'll be quite a close game. So I'll take Essendon line as well.
Yeah, no, like that too. All right, now moving to the next game. Interesting one. Hawks and Brisbane. I don't know why, but I find this interesting. Brisbane are 28.5-point favourites, and I find that kind of low for a top four
As to
side
why.
coming against a bottom two side. Let's be real.
Yep.
Hawthorn are bottom two, aren't they? Yes, they are.
Yep.
So 28.5 is low.
They might even be last after that Crows loss. I think they might be last.
North Melbourne are coming. No. North Melbourne is still last, but they're coming.
They're tied last with.
I think that draw fucked things up, but they're coming for.
I'm pretty sure that they both had a draw, so I'm pretty sure they're last.
They are. They're both tied last by 9% difference. So we're talking.
Each, yep.
We're talking a wooden spooners taking on a team who literally just got outside the top four last weekend. So it's intriguing that it's only 28.5-point margin, but I kind of get it.
I'm going to be taking Brisbane in this one, and I'm going to be taking that line, I think, very comfortably.
I agree.
Top four caliber side, premiership contender somewhat, and against the bottom team, only 28.5 points when you look at the Bulldogs, 36.5 favourites. I think Brisbane will absolutely smash them in this. If their last half is anything to go off as a form line, I think they're going to absolutely smash them. So when you're on like that, you've got the confidence. Your confidence is sky high. You know you can go out and beat the team. And if they know that they can go out and win the first half, then they're going to absolutely smash the game. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I think Brisbane win this, and I tapped that line so well. They will use that last 60 minutes of game time last week as an absolute form line and demolish them, I think. All right, on to the next one. In Queensland, but GWS take on Port Adelaide, 12.5-point favourites, Port. I'm taking Port, and I'll take our line. I think we beat GWS pretty well.
Yeah, I'm going to take Port and take your line. I think last week they had to really dig deep against Essendon and pull out a gutsy performance. What?
Collingwood. Oh, GWS. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I think last week they had to, I'll say it again without any interruption this time. I think GWS last week really had to dig deep and pull out a win against Essendon because they needed the win. And I think they're just going to be, they played their grand final last week as we normally say. So, I don't see them doing it again. I think Port at minus 12.5. I think that's a fantastic line, and I'd definitely be taking that. I think that's just a bad line. So, I'll take Port minus 12.5.
I think this is the most. This will be the best Port team we've seen all year.
Yes, Orazio back.
Orazio back, and no outs. Obviously, we'll have a out once the teams are released, but it's only going to be a Boyd Woodcock or
where's rotation. You're playing with 23 players, no outs.
One of those rotational players. So no forced outs. I mean, so it's a fantastic sign for Port and Robbie Gray coming back in a couple of weeks. So fantastic for Port. All right, moving on to our last game of the year. Stop laughing, my voice crack again. I don't know why. I fucking hit puberty. I hit puberty yesterday. Apparently. I've been waiting
mustache, I believe you.
I've been waiting 21 years, so about time it hit. On to our last game of the round. Now, this game might be the most intriguing game of the round. I've tossed and turned about this game all week. Fremantle take on Richmond. Fremantle in Perth are not a bad side. Anywhere away from Perth, shit house. In Perth, they're not bad. And they are 9-point underdogs against Richmond Tigers without half their team. I'm going to take the Tigers here because you should never back against a Warrior team. I don't care where it is. And when you take out Nat Fyfe and Mickey Walters, I think Richmond win. Dogger?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking Richmond in this one quite easily. I'll be taking that line as well.
I think the line seems low. It's a tough game. I totally get the line.
But Richmond play well at Optus Stadium. They
play well. They've travelled well for 5 years.
Yeah, like at Optus earlier this year against the Eagles, they only lost the last quarter to lose the game. And obviously Dreamtime in Perth, they absolutely smashed Essendon. I'll be taking the Tigers in this one quite easily. Freo, as you said, lost half their team, lost their two main game winners. I think they're really going to struggle against a good Tigers outfit, a good Tigers system that's always been getting around for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So.
I agree. All right, that's our review and our preview and our wing tip off done. Now on to the Brown Bats bet of the week. Dog and I haven't discussed this, and I'm just going to go off my own bat here because every time I've chosen someone to win, they've won, and Dog has chosen two for losses. So anyway, our Brown Bats bet of the week. We're in the Olympics. We go with the Olympic spirit.
Oh, Olympics one.
Yeah, we go with the Olympic spirit. So for our Brown Bats bet of the week. We are going with a market that's happening tomorrow. And, actually, I can't confirm it's tomorrow. It's sometime soon. Anyway, I think it's tomorrow.
Is it tonight?
Nothing.
As long as it's not tonight.
I think it's actually Saturday. Anyway,
okay, that's good.
I think the final Saturday, but you have to get bets on real soon because the odds will change. But anyway, going with the women's, we're going with the swimming because Australia has been dominating in the pool, and as we should, but we've been dominating it this year more than most. So going with our swimming in the Olympics tomorrow, we're going with Kate Campbell to beat Emma McKeon, another great Australian, two-time gold medalist, having a blinder of a year. However, I think she's done too much swimming now, and she showed that in the relay today that she's fatigued, and rightly so. So we're going with rightly so. So we're going with Kate Campbell to win the women's 50-meter freestyle at $2.88. We're going to put $20 on that. A nice, just a little juicy one, just to see that because I think $2.88 is too high. She was at $3.10 moments ago, and since I refreshed, she's in $2.88. So, Kate Campbell, $2.88 to win the women's 50-meter freestyle. You get on ASAP before she tops her heats, because then it will go drifted out. It will, shorten into who knows what. Considering yesterday, Stubblecock or Stubblety Cook, whatever his name is, he was $3. He was $3.10 before the heats, and then he went into $1.50 before his race. So I think Kate Campbell $2.88. Get on.
Huge. Don't mind it at all. Brown Bats Bet of the week. Get on. Gamble
responsibly. That is it. Now on to your thing that no one should ever touch.
Matt's
always
multi.
Gamble responsibly on.
Matt's multi. I've already put it on this week. I'm very, very keen on it.
No, whatever.
So this week we're going with one that we were loving just in the wing at tip off. Then Saints minus 12.5 points against Carlton on Friday night. Will it end on Friday? Who knows? Matt's multi. Go at it again another week. Don't expect a good result, and hopefully we'll get one. So hopefully we'll blow expectations out of the water. I did have Sydney 1-39 here, but since the game was moved to Metricon, it's really thrown me off. So I don't think Sydney are a lock to win that one. So I'm going to get on Saints minus 12.5. I think it's unders. And then for the next leg, I'm going to go with Charlie Dixon 3 goals. We spoke about it before. Giannis. He needs to be a bullying menace, as Cam Luke said.
So he should be.
And I think he's going to be that. He had 4 goals last week against a good Pies outfit, and he's going to have 3 goals this week. I think against a sort of lackluster GWS backline. They don't really have that key defender. They've got Phil Davis, but I think he's a bit underdone a bit. Are you taking Snapchats to send to girls during Matt's multi?
Yeah.
All right, that's shocking. No, not plural girls, just girl. Shout out to Caitlin.
Kind of
and yeah, so Charlie Dixon 3 goals. I think he's going to be a bullying menace, like Cam Luke said. And then the last leg is going to be Jaden Short for 25 touches. So the Freo Dockers have been giving up so many touches to Backman in recent weeks. I think they're going to continue to do that. And Jaden Short, 25 touches at $1.80. I do love it. So Matt's multi this week, $10.39 without a boost.
That's huge.
That is huge. So do not mind it whatsoever. Get
First
on,
leg.
gamble responsibly. And it's going to be Saints minus 12.5 line. Dixon 3 goals. Jaden Short 25 touches. Gamble responsibly.
How confident are you this week?
I have no confidence. My confidence is lost.
What's your ratio or record right now?
I believe it's 0-20.
You'd be correct. All right, now moving on. Let's get the fuck off that. That's it.
Plus that 1 week I did 2. So like even more.
I'm just being nice. Anyway, that's it. Let's move on to our hot wings. Now, the hot wings have changed up. Hot wings, we've always gone with a separate bet, call, hot wing. We've always tried to make it our own thing. But we've changed it. Last week, I hope you liked what you listened to with the segment-based idea for the hot wing. And we're going to move forward with that. So no more Dogger and I doing our own thing. We might do our own thing depending on the week. But we're going to choose one topic to really discuss, and we want to hear your opinion. So anyone who's listening on Instagram and through Spotify and on Instagram right now, I want to hear in the comments what you think. So Dogger, take it away. Your hot wing for this week.
I was thinking about this the other day, obviously prior to him getting injured, but he was hailed as one of the best players in the comp. Now out for the season, unfortunately. he's never led his team to anything great, or he led them to one grand final.
And I wouldn't say he led.
No, it was a very, very defensive Ross Lyon-led Freo team that had really strong defensive systems in place. But that's Nat Fyfe, and I'm thinking, is he even a top 25 player in the AFL?
It's a great.
We're talking about a two-time Brownlow medalist right here, and one of the star players of the comp. Now, people might bring up the argument, he plays out west. If he was playing Victoria, everyone would hail him as a top 10 player. I don't see players like that. That doesn't really bother me. I don't mind whatsoever. But Nat Fyfe, I do not think is a top 25 player. I'll name some of the players just off the top of the head that I think are better than him. So Bontempelli, Sam Walsh, Ollie Wines, Dustin Martin, Toby Green, Jack Steele, Clayton Oliver Petrarca, Took Miller, Max Gorn, Brodie Grundy, Lockie Neal, Jared Lyons, Taylor Adams, Tom Mitchell, Tom Stewart, Darcy Parish, Tim Taranto. That's just off the top of the head.
There's plenty. You could think that merit in there.
Randomly,
plenty.
I just randomly named, what's that? I think 18 players. Yeah. Just off the top of the... Oh, Dangerfield. I could go through so many. Yeah. But that's purely what I think off the top of the head. So I'm wondering for you guys sitting at home, how far down right now of a player is Nat Fyfe on your rankings in the AFL? So I think you'd really interest yourself by doing like sort of a top 50 players in the AFL, especially if you're bored, not in lockdown, mostly across the country, but potentially if you're in Sydney at the moment. But if you just do a top 50 list, where does Nat Fyfe rank in that? I really, at the moment, based on current form over the last couple of years, I don't see him anywhere near that top 25. So,
no, I agree, and I love put in the comments. Give me your top 50 because there's not many players who I can think of who would be a two-time Brownlow medalist at this stage in their career who isn't a top 10 player. I mean, off the top of my head, I go, all right, two-time Brownlow medalists. I'm thinking Adam Goodes. I'm thinking Chris Judd. I'm thinking Chris Judd. I'm thinking Robert Harvey. I'm thinking, we're clutching at straws as it is already.
There's not many.
There is not many.
Elite list.
It's in a very elite list. Adam Goodes was always a star. Judd, Harvey, Ablett, they're stars.
Yep.
And Nat Fyfe has led his team, was a participant in his team to a grand final, which they lost, and then won nothing since, and has not even made finals since, really. So, great discussion. I'd love to hear your comments about where you rank Nat Fyfe, because for me, I put him at about 35, and that's just a guess.
Wow. Do you disagree with any of the players I mentioned over here?
No, and I could think another 10 to add to it.
Yeah, I think all the Bulldogs midfield as well. So Adam Treloar, I don't know if I mentioned Taylor Adams as well. Dunkley, McRae, even Libber. I think the fact that I can probably make an argument that Libber's been better than Nat Fyfe over the last couple of years is ridiculous. So it just shows sort of how far he's fallen, or maybe how much we overrated him in the past. So I think it's a great discussion topic. So let us know in the comments on Instagram or on YouTube or anywhere. So.
Completely agree. Zach Merritt, Travis Boak, there's plenty of players who I think
Travis Boak, Ollie Wines. So, I don't know if I mentioned them.
Yeah, you did, but I completely agree. So great discussion. I hope you guys like this new Wing It discussion because I think it's fantastic. I want to hear your responses over our responses.
Open to you guys as well. So.
Yeah, completely. I want to hear because next week we'll review what you guys said and we'll shout you out and go, all right, let's see what this guy said. So let's talk with it and we'll see how we go. So anyway, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Wing It podcast.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram.
We're about dead on an hour, so this should be a perfect episode. So go on, Dogger, as you were saying.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram.
@Wing It Podcast.
Make sure to follow us on TikTok.
@Wing It Podcast.
Make sure to sub to our Instagram. Sub to our YouTube.
@Wing It Podcast.
And listen to us on Spotify as always.
@Wing It Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Ta.
Good night.